This post-COVID world, sometimes we have real people in the flesh on the set. Hollie Hughes, Liberal Senator for New South Wales. Good to be talking like this again, isn't it?
I'm not actually sure we've even been in the same studio ever before. It's very exciting.
Down cameras at each other. Now, at the top of the show, I showed how the ABC said yesterday was a messy day for both sides. I mean, surely in the Liberal Party, you could not believe your luck. That's the best day's campaigning you've ever had without having to do anything. It was
unbelievable. And I really don't think most people can still believe it. And I saw Mr Albanese put something out today that, you know, it doesn't really matter because they don't have real impacts for real people. Well, he should go make some small business people who literally watch the cash rate, because that is such an important part of their business. But the unemployment rate, you go and talk to someone who's unemployed and I can tell you they're real people with real consequences. I mean, it is just breathtaking.
And it's his job. The number one job of a politician is to be over these issues when you're debating the economy. Have a look at what Scott Morrison said about this today.
Sure, he didn't know the number, but he didn't miss it by that much. He missed it by that much. Barnaby said this the other day. You go to the dentist, doesn't matter whether you like him or not, or like her or not, but you want to know that they're good at their job. And that's what this is about. This is about whether people are good at managing the economy.
He's right. It's not a little error. I've been saying all along. This goes to competence, doesn't it?
Well, and it's not like it's something we don't talk about all the time. I mean, the conversation around the unemployment rate, the fact that it is at equal 40-year lows, the fact that Jim Chalmers put out a mucked up meme the other week, you think he might have had a little reminder about it. You know, it's not like it hasn't been top of mind, but we also only had the budget a couple of weeks ago. What was he doing while Josh was speaking? I don't know. I mean, he mentioned the Ramones on Sunday. He mentioned Taylor Swift today. Maybe he's been busy learning song lines or something, trying to appeal to, I don't know, 16-year-olds.
He should have been quoting UB40, I think, would be the band he needs to listen to more of. Let's have a look. He was thrown a bit of a lifeline yesterday when former Prime Minister John Howard said this in Western Australia.
Anthony Albanese didn't know the unemployed. All right. So what?
Now, that surprised me, that answer from John Howard. He was caught on the hop a bit. To me, he just seemed to perhaps wonder why he was being asked about this. He's had a different assessment of it today, though.
He should have known that figure. Let's not muck about. Should have. Anybody who wants to be Prime Minister should be on top of those figures.
Yeah, well, Albanese supporters, ABC and elsewhere, were very quick to say sort of John Howard put it all into perspective for Albo yesterday. But different line today from John Howard. Do you think that John Howard got a call from Scott Morrison? How do you explain that turnaround?
Oh, I think absolutely yesterday Mr Howard was caught on the hop. I was on a Zoom call when it occurred, and the messages that I started to get through it, I'm like, what's happened? What's gone on? And so it took me a little while to go back and actually have a look at what was said. And I think no one could believe it. I mean, as I said, this is not something that has not been discussed very, very often and all the time. And when we talk about unemployment rate, and we are looking at cost of living pressures, we're looking at, you know, real wage growth, we're looking at CPI versus that wage growth, unemployment is central to that. So you have to know these things if you want to be able to implement policy. But we know they've got no policy. They don't understand how that works.
He keeps talking about wage increases. The best way to get wage increases is to have low unemployment, so he knows that that's key. And as for the cash rate, everybody, every cockatoo and every pet shop knows that you might not have the exact number. You know it's close to zero. It's almost zero.
And it's been close to zero for nearly 2 years. So it's not like it moved last month. This has been nearly 2 years at exactly the same rate. So I don't know what he's been doing, but he clearly hasn't been paying attention to the economic situation in the country. And if you can't run that, and as you know, you and I both understand this, Chris, you cannot run a successful Australia without a strong economy. And if you don't understand the basic fundamentals of that, well, how can you want to lead this country?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's a big question, and it'll loom large over this campaign unless some other big disaster takes over.
Yeah, well, you know, it is a 6-week campaign.
It is 6 weeks. Thanks.
You and I have lived through a few. We know this.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us, Senator.
Thanks, Chris.
I appreciate it.